shows. You get Abbott and Costello and Laurel and Hardy and Morecambe and Wise and Little and Large and Cannon and Baldwin. Very rarely do you get a female comedy duo. Elsie and Doris Waters, I suppose, and Wood and Walters. Yes, they were funny. Wood and Walters as well, although they've sort of split up and gone their separate successful ways. We do have a new duo who I think you're going to enjoy and whom we wish every success. French and Saunders. Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders.
That's right.
And there you are. A couple of nice, respectable, middle-class girls.
Nearly right.
That's you, isn't it? The nice, respectable, middle-class one.
That's you.
But, I mean, in inverted commas, you would be regarded as alternative comedy, and I was just thinking, what the is alternative comedy? Because you were either funny or you're not. And
That's right.
It's always a mistake, isn't it, to get poached into tiny little compartments.
That's right. We'd like to know what alternative means, actually. We were labelled with it, and we never really knew what it meant.
No.
We do know that we are the sex kittens of alternative comedy. That's one thing we do know, but we don't know what it is.
What, does that mean that your material might be slightly more racy than, say, Elsie and Doris Waters?
I suppose. I think the targets are different. I think that's the difference.
What are the targets now?
Well, there's certain parts of the body we mentioned which I don't think they would have mentioned, which makes it racy, perhaps.
Dangly bits, you know.
What? Do you mean corks hanging from Australians' hats?
Perhaps your bits are
Elsie and
dangly,
Doris. Elsie and Doris were way in the forefront of that.
Dangly bits, you've seen them. Dangly bits, like this.
But there's nothing new about them.
No, but people don't mention them very often, no, do they? We were put very late at night because we mentioned one dangly bit.
Did you?
Yeah.
A dangly bit in isolation is not going to give anybody.
I know. It's when they're related to toilet parts. You know, your toilet parts. Toilet parts and dangly bits together is a definite no-no for television.
It's too embarrassing. It's too embarrassing.
Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed by
I'm too
this?
embarrassed, yes.
Yeah. Does she embarrass you?
Yes.
It's just she hasn't got any toilet parts. That's the
Please.
She has. She has.
My mother is going to be looking at this.
Do your parents know what you do for a living? Yeah.
They've seen us a few times.
Have they seen your act?
Yes.
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 What's their reaction? What have they said, your parents?
Well, I think it's all right now. It was different when we used to play in a club in Soho, you see, in the Raymond Review Bar, which was a comedy club. It was called the Comic Strip. And it's very hard to explain that, in fact, it was a comedy show. It was a comedy show. It wasn't a strip club, yes, but it was a comedy show. It was a comedy show.
We used to have great intervals where the men who'd been into the strip club, which was right next door, who were the little Japanese businessmen, used to come out and have their interval drinks with all the people who'd come out of our show, who were very right on and trendy and yar people who'd been into our show. They had plenty of street cred.
What's your act based on? I mean...
Well, the act, I mean, in a way, it's not like the traditional double act in that we don't have a straight person and a funny person in our act. Do we, Jennifer?
No, never.
Well, if we do, I'm the funny person.
Are you?
I think you'll find you're not, love. I think
you'll find I'm
not.
the funniest.
I think not.
I think if you
yes.
really think about it, you'll find I'm the funniest, won't you?
Yeah.
I think if you want to keep your face the same shape, you'll find I'm the funniest.
Yeah, but we like each other a lot. We get on really well. I think that's the secret of a double act, is just liking the person you're working with an awful lot.
Yeah.
It is,
right,
really.
yes. No, but actually what we do is that we have a relationship called French and Saunders on stage, where, in fact, Jennifer's very, very bossy, and I'm the servant. And then when we do the sketches, we change completely, and we just sort of become the characters.
Is that not going to
sketches.
confuse the audience? Won't you need, I mean, seriously, a funny and a straight?
No, not at all. No. We have different sort of power changes, really. That's what it is. Somebody's in charge.
What kind of sketch? You do a sketch based on a mother and a daughter, don't you?
That's right.
Is that based on observation of your own Your own mother?
Absolutely.
Oh, you're
Word for word.
Yes, it is. It's frightening.
Word for word. Yeah.
So many people have said to us that they recognise it, immediately.
What, your mother has said that to you?
Yeah.
My mother said she was glad it made such an impact, I think, was her very words. Glad it made such an impact.
What is the matter with you? What is the matter with you?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
Nothing.
Well, stop it then.
Stop what?
You know what I'm talking about. Stop it right now. I don't
Stop
want to
what?
hear any more from you,
Stop
madam.
what? I
No
haven't
more
done
from you.
anything. Stop what? Stop what? I haven't done anything.
Stop it.
Just didn't want to buy these trousers, that's all.
What's the matter with your
Just
trousers?
didn't want to buy these trousers, that's all.
They're lovely trousers,
Horrible,
darling.
horrible
Very,
trousers,
very
horrible
slimming trousers.
horrible
They're
trousers,
super.
horrible.
I was with you in the shop when you bought those trousers.
Didn't choose these ones.
Well, which trousers did you want then?
Well, those are the farmers'
Oh,
ones. that
what is
everyone-
the difference between the
Farmers.
farmers' trousers and those trousers?
Everyone else has got the...
Everyone else
It's
has
not
got
that,
the
it's not
farmers.
that, it's not
Can't
that.
be individual,
It's not
can
that,
we, young
it's not
lady?
that.
Told you if you got the pattern, Auntie May would make you 4 pairs of trousers. Auntie May can make trousers. She was a tailoress in the war, madam.
I'll just go to the shop and buy them.
Yes! Yes, why can't you just go to the shop and buy them? With what?
My money.
With whose money, sorry?
Your money.
Who?
Your money.
My money, yes, for which I work how hard?
Very hard for
hard.
them.
Yes, madam.
I can understand.
And it just is exactly wrong.
I can obviously understand your mother not identifying with that. Well, I can understand girls identifying with that, my daughter identifying with it, and my wife failing to recognize herself.
Yes.
Do people actually recognize themselves in your interpretation? Would the daughter recognize herself in yours
Oh, I think so, yes.
without
Well, I hope
feeling
so.
slightly shy about it?
No, it happens to everybody, I think, that. It's
You know,
like,
when
when
you
your
do
mother
those
reads
two-
your diary.
Yeah.
It
When
was
you do
open,
those,
so she read
those
it.
two girls, that you observed, obviously from your own observation at hops and discos,
Yes.
what's the reaction of youngsters, young girls looking at that? Do they reject the interpretation or do they laugh and see themselves
they
in it?
like it, yes.
like it.
Yes, they do like it. Because you do get girls like that who live in the toilets at the discos because they want to
Live there.
talk about all the boys that are outside, you
It's
know.
like they get a group from the disco, get the bags, and they're off to the toilets. And you know they're there talking about the talent around.
That's right, and what's happening
It's
with
going
their
with who?
particular boyfriend, you know. Shut up, oh, shut up. She fancies you. She fancies you. She do. It's that sort of, that sort of thing where they really bossy to each other and really violent like this.
So tense.
Yeah.
When you're 16, everything is like that.
Who decides what goes in the act and what doesn't? I mean,
Well,
you, Jennifer. Did you?
I try.
Are you the
I've
boss?
tried. Can I say I've tried?
Yeah.
I've tried to keep those dangly bits out of the act. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked.
No way. No, we write it together. We just come up with an idea and then we write it together.
Isn't it more likely that you go your separate ways, that you either go as comedians or actresses your separate ways? It is pretty unusual to have a comedy duo that's female.
Yeah, but that's not a reason for us to go our separate ways, really. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, and we have been offered work separately. I've been offered work cleaning and things like that. But we can always do other work, so long as the double act doesn't suffer as a result of it, as long as it doesn't hold the other person up.
But
at
do
all.
you see yourself being like a Morecambe and Wise or a Two Ronnies doing that kind of more general audience series?
I think we could. Yes. Yes, I think we could. Over to you, Jenny. What do you think?
Well, it's just a matter of doing what you want to do, I think, isn't it, Dawn?
Yes, that's a super idea. She's very clever, our Jen. Very clever girl. She hasn't got a single thing.
Did you always dislike each other, or was it just almost instant dislike?
Yeah, actually, we did.
We did instantly dislike each other.
Yeah, we did.
No, don't sound so surprised. Everybody can see.
No, we did.
And it's continued on.
That's right, yes. Because we met at college, and I'd just come back from a year in America.
She was a product of the cookie jar.
Yes, I know. And
What did you do in America?
I went to America after I left school on an it was just a trip, really, with the English-speaking union, who send 15 kids abroad every year, and then 15 American kids come to England. And I just went over there and got fatter and fatter and fatter.
Did you?
And I had to write about it when I got back. It was an educational thing. I had to go to college there and stuff. But I came back wearing baseball caps and saying gross and turkey and calling biscuits cookies, which Jennifer, being a Sloane Ranger as she was at the time, didn't really
I've never
suit
been
her.
a Sloane Ranger. Never.
Come out now as a Sloane Ranger.
Never been a Sloane Ranger.
She was.
She wasn't.
But it was like the sort of thing where we met in the foyer and went, ugh, just really hated each other straight away.
Has
John's
any-
got quite a big personality. You kidnap people.
Yes, and you're quite a
things.
small personality, aren't you? Small, really.
Do you write the stuff beforehand, or do you make it up
Make
as
it
you
up on the
go
spot.
along?
We,
I mean, do you ad-lib within the context of an idea, or do you have it all rigidly worked out beforehand, what you're going to say?
It's fairly rigid, because if you ad-lib and you're a double act, the other person is left going, what are you talking about now? What are you saying? What are you saying? And that's a bit embarrassing in front of an audience. It's all right at home.
You're writing a situation comedy, or you're helping to
That's
write a
right, we
situation.
are.
Yes.
What's that going to be about?
Well, we're writing it with another girl, Ruby Wax, who's here. And it's going to have Tracy Ullman in it, us two, and Ruby. And Joan Greenwood, who's our landlady.
It's
about-
four girls who live in a flat, basically, in a flat in Chelsea, and none of them belong there at all. And it's just about the adventures that they have while they're there. It's a cross between Take Three Girls, remember that?
Yeah.
I Love Lucy and Sergeant Bilko. That's going to work in the end.
What's it called?
Well, it's called two things at the moment. We don't know which one to choose. Perhaps you could choose for us, Terence.
Well, I'd certainly do, if I can.
Either Girls on Top. Get it? Get it? He doesn't get it at all. Yeah, think dangly.
Oh, I have to stop. I'm married. When you married, you don't.
Nothing. Finished. Dead.
El
Just
Zippo.
rumour after that. Just rumour.
And I'm happy about that. That's fine by
Yes,
me.
yes, you look happy. Or the other one is Foreplay. Nothing at all. Or we could call it Sitcom with four girls.
Take Four Girls.
Yeah, great. We'll call you about the, the titles.
You're smashing.
Take Four Girls. Don't you think that foreplay would be...
But look. None of that stuff. You don't hear Terry and June. You don't hear Terry and June talking...
You just swore, didn't you? Did you say Terry and
You
June?
don't hear Terry and June talking dirty, do you?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
I think that's the trouble. It's not going to be like Terry and June.
Isn't it?
No, I don't think so. Not unless Terry and June took a lot of drugs and got very drunk and sat in a room one day and were very embarrassing. Then it would be like Terry and June. It's good fun to write, anyway.
Well, will the jokes all be about women? Because a lot of your jokes are about women. Aren't you tempted to reverse it? Because most male jokes are about women. Wouldn't you be accused of not being perhaps feminist enough or playing the chauvinist game? Would you like to sort of single
No, 'cause
out
they're
men?
they're not jokes against women. They're jokes about women. And women being funny. They're not against women.
Do you not like comedians who tell jokes against women?
No, because for a start, it's boring. We've heard that for so many years now. Mother-in-law jokes and so on. It's like, it's just boring. And it's offensive a lot of the time.
Or will you tell jokes against men, then?
No, we just tell jokes about people.
I had Joan Rivers on last week,
Yes.
the American comedian, and she seems to get away with a lot rougher stuff than... Would you attempt some of the stuff she does?
Well, she tells
Do you think,
jokes.
in other words, you think a British audience is going to be less liberal than an American audience, because I wouldn't have thought so.
I'm sure that if there was a woman in this country doing that kind of humour, that she'd be well appreciated. There's a real gap here for someone to do that sort of thing.
Not us.
Joan's a completely different style to us because she tells lines. She's got great lines about any subject. You know, she knows exactly what to say about any person. And she puts people down just like that, and she's very, very clever with bang, bang, bang lines. I think that's great. We're useless at that.
We're just vulnerable.
Yes.
Two vulnerable girls,
Yes.
two simple girls. But what are you going to do when you grow old?
I should think we'll have a chat show.
Ladies and gentlemen, French and Saunders. My thanks to French and Saunders from my